If you are seeing this right now, this is not a coincidence. Stop for a moment, breathe, and listen carefully, because what you are about to hear may be exactly what your heart has needed for a long time. God is testing you, yes, right now. And I know that it does not feel like a test. It feels like silence. It feels like delay. It feels like disappointment. It feels like you have been praying, waiting, believing, trying to stay strong, and still nothing seems to move. You have been holding on, but it is getting harder. You have been smiling in front of people, but inside, you are tired. Deep inside, there is a question you may have been afraid to say out loud. God, where are you? Because if He is there, why does it hurt this much? Why does it feel like everything is taking so long? Still listening, still searching, still trying, still hoping, even with wounded faith, means God is not done with you, not even close. Tests reveal things. They reveal what is really inside you. They reveal your faith when there is no visible evidence. They reveal your trust when nothing makes sense. They reveal your endurance when your feelings tell you to stop. Anyone can praise when life is easy. Anyone can smile when the answers come quickly. Anyone can speak about faith when everything is working out. But real faith is built in the dark. Real trust is built in the waiting. Real endurance is built in the silence. It is built in those moments when you cannot trace God, but you decide to trust His heart anyway. And that may be the test in front of you right now. Not whether you are perfect, but whether you will still trust Him when you do not understand Him. Because even now, while you are listening, things are moving that you cannot yet see. Paths are being aligned. Situations are being rearranged again and again. It is hard to keep trusting when your emotions are exhausted. It is hard to stay hopeful when no one seems to understand what you carry inside. But God sees everything. He sees every tear you cried in private. He sees every night you lay awake thinking. He sees every time you encouraged others while your own heart was breaking. He sees every prayer you whispered with a trembling voice. He sees all of it, and He has not ignored any of it. He is not absent. He is not careless. He is not distant. He is working in ways you cannot yet measure. And this is what many people miss. Before the breakthrough, there is often a breaking point. Before the answer, there is often a season of uncertainty. Before the open door, there is often a hallway of waiting. God is not only trying to bless you, He is preparing you to sustain what He is about to place in your hands. Because if He gave you everything right now, without the strength, without the wisdom, without the growth, without the healing, it could overwhelm you. So instead, He builds you first. He strengthens you first. He teaches everything you have survived. The same God who allowed this test has already planned the strength you need to endure it. He did not bring you this far to leave you here. He did not carry you through all those nights, all those battles, all those fears, just to abandon you now. There is purpose in this. There is meaning in this. There is something holy being formed in you through this very moment. And maybe this message reached you today because you were close to giving up. Maybe you were tired of being strong. Maybe you were ready to let hope go. But now you are here, listening, breathing, still holding on. And that is not random. That is confirmation. God is still speaking to you. He is still guiding you. He is still reminding you, I am not done with you. So do not quit. Do not walk away. Do not surrender your faith in this painful chapter, because what is coming will one day make sense of what you are feeling now. One day you will look back at this season, proof that God really was with you in the fire, in the waiting, and in the silence. He was there when you cried. He was there when you doubted. He was there when you almost gave up. And He is here now. And maybe right now, you are still trying to understand why this season feels so heavy, why your heart feels so full, yet so empty at the same time, why you wake up some days without the same strength you once had, why things that used to be easy now feel overwhelming, why even your prayers sometimes feel quieter than before. But listen carefully, because this is important. Just because your strength feels different does not mean your faith is gone. Sometimes faith becomes quieter, deeper, and more real in seasons like this. It is no longer loud, no longer emotional, no longer based on feelings. It becomes a decision. A quiet, powerful decision to keep trusting God even when everything inside you feels uncertain. And that kind of faith is not weak. That kind of faith is powerful. Because it is no longer based on what you see, it is based on who God is. You are not the only one who has felt like this. There have been moments in the lives of many people where God seemed silent, moments where answers did not come, moments where now God does not start something and leave it unfinished. He completes what he begins, and your story is not over. But here is something many people do not realize. Growth often happens in hidden places. Not on the outside, not where everyone can see it, but inside, in your thoughts, in your heart, in the way you respond to pain, in the way you handle disappointment, in the way you choose to keep going when everything tells you to stop. That is where real transformation happens, and that is where God is working right now. You may feel like nothing is changing, but you are changing. You may feel like nothing is moving, but something inside you is being strengthened. You may feel like you are standing still, but God is working beneath the surface in ways you cannot yet understand. And one day, what feels invisible right now will become visible. What feels confusing now will become clear. What feels heavy now will make sense. But there is a moment in every test where the pressure increases, a moment where things feel even harder than before, a moment where your emotions feel stronger, your doubts feel louder, your strength feels lower. That moment is critical, because that is the moment where many people give up. That is the moment where many people walk away. That is the moment where faith is either abandoned or strengthened. And maybe you are in that exact moment right now. Maybe the pressure has increased. Maybe the weight feels heavier. Maybe the silence feels longer. Maybe the waiting feels endless. But what if that pressure is not meant to break you, but to reveal you? What if that pressure is shaping you into someone stronger, deeper, more resilient than you have ever been before? Because diamonds are formed under pressure. Strength is built through resistance. Character is developed through challenges. And faith is refined through tests. You are not being destroyed. You are being refined. And refinement is not comfortable, but it is necessary. There are things inside you that you did not know were there. Strength you have not yet discovered. Faith you have not yet fully understood. Endurance you have not yet fully developed. And this season is bringing those things to the surface. It is showing you what you are truly capable of when you rely on God instead of your own understanding. And I know it is difficult. I know there are moments where you feel alone. Moments where you feel like no one understands. Moments where you wish things would just change. But listen to this truth. You are not alone. God is with you in this moment. Not just in your victories, but in your struggles. Not just in your joy, but in your pain. Not just when you feel strong, but especially when you feel weak. He is with you when you cry. He is with you when you question. He is with you when you feel lost. He is with you when you feel like you cannot keep going. And he is not just watching. He is guiding. He is shaping. He is preparing. Sometimes God allows you to walk through difficult seasons not to harm you, but to position you, to take you from where you are to where you need to be. And that journey is not always easy. It is not always comfortable, but it is always purposeful. You may not understand everything now. You may not see the full picture yet, but you do not need to. You just need to trust the one who sees it all. Trust that he knows what he is doing. Trust that he has not forgotten you. Trust that this season will not last forever, because seasons change. Pain does not stay permanent. Waiting does not last forever. And what you are feeling right now is not your final destination. It is a part of your journey. And here is something powerful to hold on to. God is not just preparing what is coming for you. He is preparing you for what is coming. There is a difference, because the blessing is important, but the person you become is even more important. The answer matters, but your growth matters more. The outcome is valuable, but your transformation is priceless. So do not rush this process. Do not try to escape this season before it finishes what it was meant to do, because there is something being built in you that will carry you through the next level of your life, something that will sustain you, something that will keep you grounded, something that will keep you strong when new challenges come. And even now, even in this moment, you are closer than you think, closer to understanding, closer to breakthrough, closer to clarity, closer to a shift that will change everything. But the closer you get, the harder it can feel. the more intense it can become. And that is why you cannot give up now, because you are not where you started. You have come too far to quit here. You have grown too much to turn back now. You have endured too much to stop before the breakthrough. Everything you have gone through has brought you to this point, and this point is not the end. It is the turning point. So hold on, keep going, keep trusting. Even if your faith feels small, use what you have. Even if your strength feels weak, take one more step. Even if your heart feels heavy, do not walk away, because God is still working. Even in the silence, even in the waiting, even in the uncertainty. And if you needed a sign to keep going, this is it. If you needed confirmation that God is still with you, this is it. If you needed a reminder that you are not alone, this is it. Do not ignore this moment. Do not dismiss this message. Let it strengthen you. Let it remind you. Let it lift you. Because what you are going through right now is not meaningless. It is not wasted. It is not random. It is shaping you into someone who will one day look back and understand why everything had to happen this way. And when that day comes, you will not regret staying. You will not regret trusting. You will not regret holding on, because you will see what God was doing all along. So stay in the process. Stay in the faith. Stay in the journey, because what comes next will require the strength you are building right now, and you are stronger than you think. There is something happening inside you right now that you may not fully understand. It is not just emotion. It is not just exhaustion. It is something deeper, something spiritual, something that goes beyond what your eyes can see and what your mind can explain. Because when God is preparing you, the transformation does not always happen around you. It happens within you. And that kind of change can feel uncomfortable. It can feel confusing. It can even feel overwhelming at times. But that is because something old is being broken and something new is being built. There are parts of you that cannot go where God is taking you. Old fears, old habits, old ways of thinking, old dependencies. And before God elevates you, He often removes what would limit you. He removes what would hold you back. He removes what would not survive the next level. And that process can feel like loss. It can feel like things are being taken away. It can feel like life is getting smaller instead of bigger. But what if what you are losing is actually what was preventing you from receiving what is coming? Sometimes God will separate you from people who cannot go with you. Sometimes He will close doors that you were emotionally attached to. Sometimes He will take away comfort so you can discover strength. And in those moments it feels painful, it feels confusing, it feels unfair, but God does not remove without purpose. He does not take without intention. Everything He allows has meaning, even if you cannot see it yet. And I know there are moments where you look at your life and think, this is not how I imagined things would be. This is not where I thought I would be at this point. This is not how I expected things to turn out. But listen carefully. Your expectation is limited by what you can see. God's plan is built on what you cannot see. And sometimes what feels like a delay is actually redirection. Sometimes what feels like a loss is actually protection. Sometimes what feels like confusion is actually alignment, because God is not just concerned with where you are going. He is concerned with who you are becoming, and who you are becoming right now is someone stronger, someone wiser, someone deeper, someone more prepared, someone more aware of His presence, someone who no longer depends only on circumstances, but learns to depend on Him. And that kind of growth changes everything. It changes how you see challenges. It changes how you respond to pain. It changes how you move through uncertainty. You begin to understand that not everything that feels negative is truly negative. Not everything that feels like an ending is actually an ending. Some things are transitions, some things are transformations, some things are necessary steps to bring you closer to where you are meant to be. And here is something important you need to understand. The enemy of your purpose is not always failure. Sometimes it is comfort, because comfort can keep you in places that no longer serve your growth. Comfort can keep you attached to situations that limit your potential. Comfort can keep you from stepping into something greater because it feels safer to stay where things are familiar. So God disrupts comfort, not to hurt you, but to move you, not to break you, but to awaken you, not to stop you, but to redirect you. And when that happens, it feels like instability. It feels like uncertainty. It feels like everything is shifting at once. But that is because something new is being formed, something stronger, something more aligned with your purpose. And you may not feel ready for it. You may feel like you are not strong enough, not prepared enough, not capable enough. But the truth is, you are not meant to rely only on your own strength. That is why God allows seasons that stretch you beyond your comfort zone, because in those moments, you learn to rely on Him in a deeper way. You begin to pray differently. You begin to think differently. You begin to trust differently. You begin to see life differently. And slowly, without even realizing it, you are becoming the person you once needed. The person who can endure. The person who can stand strong even when everything feels uncertain. The person who can walk by faith and not by sight. And that transformation is powerful, because once you go through a season like this, you are never the same again. You no longer panic the same way. You no longer fear the same things. You no longer depend on temporary stability. You carry something deeper inside you, a quiet confidence, a steady faith, a strength that does not come from circumstances, but from knowing that God is with you no matter what happens. And that is what this season is producing in you, even now, even in the middle of everything you are feeling, even in the moments where you doubt, even in the moments where you feel weak, even in the moments where you question everything. God is still working. And there is something else you need to hear. Just because you feel tired does not mean you are losing. Just because you feel overwhelmed does not mean you are failing. Just because you feel uncertain does not mean you are off track. Sometimes those feelings are signs that you are growing, signs that you are being stretched, signs that you are being prepared for something beyond what you are used to. And growth always comes with discomfort. But discomfort is temporary. Transformation is lasting. So do not let temporary feelings convince you to make permanent decisions. Do not walk away from what God is building just because it feels hard. Do not give up on yourself just because you are tired. Rest if you need to. Pause if you need to. But do not quit, because quitting would interrupt something that is still in progress. And you are still in progress. You are not finished. You are not complete. You are not at the end. You are in the middle of a process that is still unfolding. And what is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you, even if it does not feel like it yet, even if it does not look like it yet, even if you cannot fully believe it yet. Because sometimes faith begins before understanding. Sometimes trust begins before clarity. Sometimes obedience begins before confirmation. And right now, you are being invited into that space, a space where you choose to trust God even without full answers, a space where you continue forward even without full clarity, a space where you believe that something greater is coming even if you cannot see it yet. And that is where miracles begin, not always in what is visible, but in what is invisible. Not always in what is immediate, but in what is being prepared. And what is being prepared for you right now is bigger than you think. Greater than you imagine, stronger than what you have experienced before, but you have to become ready for it. And that is what this season is doing. It is making you ready, ready to receive, ready to handle, ready to sustain, ready to step into something new without falling back into old patterns. And that is why you cannot give up now, because you are closer than you think, closer than you feel, closer than your emotions are telling you, closer than your circumstances are showing you. And the closer you get, the more intense the battle can feel, because pressure increases before breakthrough. Silence deepens before answers come. Uncertainty grows before clarity appears. And many people quit in that exact moment, not because they were far, but because they were close. So do not misinterpret this season. Do not think that difficulty means distance from God. Sometimes it means the opposite. Sometimes it means you are right in the center of His process, right in the middle of transformation, right where everything is being aligned for what comes next. So stay focused, stay grounded, stay connected, stay in faith, Even if your voice shakes when you pray, even if your heart feels heavy, even if your mind is full of questions, stay, because what comes next is going to require everything you have been building in this season, and you are almost there. And now, this is the moment you need to hear the most. Because everything you have felt, everything you have endured, everything you have questioned, it has all been leading to this realization. God has not abandoned you, not for a second, not in the silence, not in the waiting, not in the pain, not even in the moments where you thought he was distant. He was there. He is here, and he has been working all along, even when you could not feel him, even when you could not see anything changing, even when you thought your prayers were going unanswered. He was moving quietly, precisely, intentionally, because God does not work in chaos. He works in purpose. And everything you went through, every delay, every closed door, every moment of confusion, every tear that fell when no one else saw, every night you questioned if things would ever change, every moment you felt like you were carrying more than you could handle, every time you almost gave up but somehow kept going, none of it was wasted, none of it was meaningless, none of it was random. It was preparation. Preparation for something greater than what you were asking for. Preparation for something deeper than what you expected. Preparation for something that requires a stronger version of you. And now, you are not the same person you were before this test. You have changed. Even if you do not fully realize it yet, you have grown. You have endured. You have learned to stand in moments where you once would have fallen. You have learned to breathe in moments where you once would have panicked. You have learned to keep going in moments where you once would have quit. You have learned to trust even when your emotions were unstable. You have learned to stay even when everything inside you wanted to leave. You have learned to believe even when your circumstances gave you no reason to. That is not weakness. That is transformation. That is strength. That is faith being built in its purest form. And now, God is about to show you why all of this had to happen. But listen carefully. Before the breakthrough becomes visible, there is one final moment, one final decision, one final step of faith, a moment where you choose, not based on what you feel, but based on what you believe. Because everything inside you might still feel uncertain. Your emotions may still be tired. Your thoughts may still be questioning. Your heart may still be healing. But your spirit knows something is shifting. Your spirit knows something is aligning. Your spirit knows something is about to open. And this is where everything turns, right here, right now. In this decision, will you trust God, even here? Will you keep believing, even now? Will you stay even when it is still hard? Because if you do, everything changes. Not because your situation instantly disappears, but because something inside you locks into place. A certainty, a peace, a strength that no circumstance can take away. And when that happens, your breakthrough is no longer a question. It becomes a matter of time, because God responds to faith that remains. God moves through hearts that refuse to give up. God honors those who stay when it would be easier to walk away. God strengthens those who continue even when they feel weak. God lifts those who feel like they cannot stand anymore. God restores those who feel like they have lost too much. So this is your moment. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Make the decision. I will trust God, even if I do not understand, even if I do not see, even if I do not feel. I will trust God. And as you say that, something shifts, something aligns, something opens, because faith activates what fear blocks. Faith releases what doubt delays. Faith positions you for what God has already prepared. And what God has prepared for you is bigger than this moment, stronger than this pain, greater than this season, more powerful than anything you have experienced before. So do not go back. Do not return to doubt. Do not return to fear. Do not return to the mindset that almost made you quit. You have come too far. You have grown too much. You have endured too much. This is not where your story ends. This is where it changes. This is where everything begins to make sense. Even if you do not see it immediately, the shift has already started. Even if nothing around you looks different yet, something inside you has already changed. And that change is the beginning of everything. And one day, you will look back at this exact moment, and you will understand. You will understand why things did not happen when you wanted. You will understand why certain doors stayed closed. You will understand why the waiting felt so long. You will understand why the silence was necessary, because you will see what God was protecting you from. You will see what He was preparing for you. You will see how perfectly everything was aligned. You will see how every delay carried purpose. You will see how every struggle carried strength. You will see how every tear carried meaning. You will see how every moment of doubt turned into a moment of growth. You will see how every time you wanted to quit actually made you stronger. And you will be grateful that you did not give up, that you stayed, that you trusted, that you believed, even when it was hard, even when it felt impossible, even when everything inside you wanted to quit. So if you are still here listening, this is your confirmation. God is not finished with you. Your story is not over. Your breakthrough is not canceled. Your future is not lost. Everything is still in motion. Everything is still being prepared. Everything is still working in your favor, even now, especially now. So hold on. Stay strong. Stay in faith. Stay connected. Stay believing, because what is coming next is going to change everything. And before you leave, before this moment ends, I want you to do something powerful. I want you to declare your faith. Type in the comments, "I trust God," or "I won't give up," or even, "God is with me," because when you declare it, you strengthen it. When you speak it, you activate it. When you believe it, you live it. And if this message spoke to you, subscribe to this channel, because there are more messages like this, more prayers, more strength, more reminders that you are not alone. This channel exists for moments like this, for people like you, people who are fighting silently, people who are holding on quietly, people who refuse to give up even when it is hard. And there are others who need this message too. So share this with someone. Send it to someone who is struggling, because you never know who is one message away from not giving up, one message away from holding on, one message away from choosing faith again. And remember this, if you are seeing this, this is not a coincidence. God brought you here. God spoke to you. God reminded you that you are still in His hands, that you are still under His care, that you are still part of His plan. So stay just a little longer, because He is not done. And your story is not over. Your story is just beginning. And if you listen closely, you can feel it. Something is changing. Something is being prepared. And you are part of it. So do not leave this moment the same way you entered. Carry this with you. Carry this faith. Carry this strength. Carry this certainty. Because what comes next will require everything you have just built inside you. And you are ready, even if you do not feel it yet. You are ready, and everything is about to change. And when you feel doubt trying to come back later, remember this moment. Remember what you felt right now. Remember this decision, because this is where everything turned. And if you are seeing this right now, this is not a coincidence.